Interface Video, in cooperation with Fairfield Federal, presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fair Hope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Frankie Smith Funeral Home, Fairfield County Adam H., Dagger Law, and the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.
Hello friends, welcome to Fairfield Today. I'm Paul Jasson. Thank you for joining us. We are again telecasting from the lobby downtown of Fairfield Federal. Ed Schaffner from Schaffner's Ice Cream up in Baltimore, Ohio. It's really an iconic, I liken it to when I was a young person, I can remember being out in sports and going to the Shake Shop in Logan. Everybody from all around central or southeastern Ohio, when you had games down in Athens or anything like that, you always stopped at the Shake Shop. Well, Schaffner's Drive-In and ice cream place up in Baltimore is that kind of place too. Ed, has your only place you've ever worked, right?
Well, I have to correct you on that.
Okay.
Paul. I did work at Lazarus in my off time.
Did you sell ice cream there?
No.
Okay.
No, I sold dress shirts and ties.
Okay.
Yes.
This is back when you had winters
off. Yes.
Winters off.
Now we're going to be open.
That's changing.
It's changing. Yes.
That's really the reason I'm having Ed Schaffner on from Schaffner's in Baltimore. If you know where that is, right there across from school, what's the name of the street there? What is that?
It's Market Street.
Street.
Yeah, Market Street. Union Street comes right up.
It's right there, and everybody in Baltimore, it's just, again, an iconic place, a wonderful place to go to have ice cream. But they recently demolished it. They're building a new one, going to open a new one, open somewhere around Memorial Day. Are we close on that?
In that area.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
In that area.
And I guess, what was the decision behind your thinking there? Because I would think having winters off is pretty cool.
Oh, for me, yes, it was.
Yeah.
Well, my boys. I did it for my two youngest boys. Graham he graduated a year ago from OU, and he's always said he was the first one that said that I wanted to take over the ice cream
He wants
place.
to be the next generation.
Yes.
Okay.
And then Peter reminded me the other day, which is the youngest, and he's at Ohio State now. He'll be graduating sometime within the year. A couple years ago, he told me, because I asked him, I said, what do you think you want to do? He said, well, Graham's going to take over the business, so what can I do, or because he was wanting to know what his major is going to be, because that's what I wanted to know, what he wanted to do. I said, okay, well, just wait a minute. I said, no, if you want to take over the business too, which I remember this long time ago when he was in kindergarten. He said, I want to be the owner of Schaffner's.
Really?
And I had forgot about that. He just brought that up to me.
He still remember that?
Yes, and I just remembered that here. We was talking a couple days ago about it, and I said, just wait a minute. I said, okay, we'll sit down and we'll talk to you, and we'll see what you want to do. I said, I was just waiting for somebody to. Sure. Because it'll be a two-person business now, rather. I mean, it was a one-person before, but it was kind of hectic. I mean, in that small place, and I mean, it was just we outgrew that space in there, and it was just. Now we're going to have. I can't believe all.
2 or 3 tables wasn't big enough.
No, and 2 of those the old buildings can fit in this building.
Is that right?
So I mean, it's going to be new to all of us, because we're going to have to be retrained on all the equipment and everything, and it's just going to be a new. They don't mind it. This old guy will probably have trouble.
Well, it's always a bit more challenging when you're a little older and new things come. Exactly. I mean, with those guys with the new computers and you'll have for registers, they'll know that before they're even installed.
Exactly.
They'll understand
that. They have no problem.
But the other people in your staff, and I know you've had people who've been there a long time. Now, this was open, when was it? Back in when did Schaffner's open up?
June 9th of 1959.
1959. Was your mom involved in it then?
Mom and Dad, yes.
Your mom and Dad opened it, and they opened it as a Tasty Freeze?
Tasty Freeze, yes.
Yeah, and I can remember there was one here over in West Fair, too. We had a Dairy Queen out on East Main, had a Tasty Freeze over on Fair Avenue there, and your folks were friends with the folks that owned that one?
Yes, they were. That's how they got got into it. My dad got into it, and
yeah.
my mom, I guess, was the instigator of it. Because
I know your mother, so.
Yeah, oh yeah. My dad he sold Snap-on tools at the time.
Okay.
And then they tried to do both. Mom was going to run it in the daytime, and Dad was going to run it at night when he got off. And
yeah.
after 2 or 3 years of that, then he quit his tool route, and it's history.
That's how it was. One worked during the day, one worked during the evening. I mean, that's how all mom and pop businesses.
Oh, yeah.
Because you need family. They're the only people you can trust. You know, you got to have people in there watching everything. You understand that. But so you guys open that, and then it's Tasty Freeze for a few years, and eventually it just becomes Schaffner's.
Schaffner's, yes.
Yeah.
We dropped it was back in the day there, it was easy to drop the franchise.
Sure.
And now it's probably not as easy to do that. But yeah.
Well, and so now you and your wife, Shirley, own it, have owned it since, I don't know,
93, I think.
93,
yes,
have been there. And again, it's an iconic place. And if there's one thing I know about small businesses in small towns like Baltimore, you folks are so entrenched in there. You do so much with the young people's teams.
Right.
I mean, you know the people that are your customers, that are your wheelhouse, but everybody comes there. And I know they've opened another place out a couple miles away from you,
yeah.
but still, I think, and I can remember when the Dairy Queen here in town, it was just like you. It only was open in the summer, closed during the winter. They went to Florida, like a lot of those people did.
Yeah,
they got away, but then eventually they built a place on where you could have all winter long, and you could be there all winter long, and you've done that now. So it's going to be exciting. It's kind of be, for you, it's going to be something just exciting like you haven't seen for a while.
Oh yeah, I mean it's going to be. I mean I anticipate I don't want everybody coming in, which everybody wants to come in,
sure.
And I'm still debating on what to do with
like a soft open.
Opening, yes. Yeah. If I'm going to just do drive-through only, like now all these places are drive-through only, and they're backed up, which that's fine. But people, it's a new building, so they're going to want to come in and see the building itself. So I'm just still debating about that.
And things could change even by Memorial Day. Things could be loosening up, or they actually could tighten up. You never know.
Yeah, you don't know.
So how many seats inside will you have when it's all done?
74.
Wow.
Yeah, compared to 16.
Now, will it be close to the front like it is now? Will that still be there, and then the building will be added onto the back, or built new in the back?
Yeah, it's probably 10 feet. It started 10 feet back from where the original building was.
Okay.
And we kept some, out front, we kept a wall from the old building. So we're going to have it's going to be cut down halfway, but it's going to be, so people can sit on top of it and like that. So yeah, so.
Talking with Ed Schaffner. Ed, along with his wife Shirley, owns Schaffner's, I guess, drive-in, I guess it was called. But now, will it be just Schaffner's now, or are you going to change?
It's going to be Schaffner's Drive-In.
Schaffner's Drive-In. So you're going to have a nice drive around like that, like everybody does, and a nice eat-in. So
yes.
It's just going to be different. Will you have additional items for sale, or will you just sell kind of what you've always done, or is that kind of a work in progress?
Well, yeah, we're going to start out with what we've had before, and then we'll take suggestions. If people like something, we'll try it. I mean, we got room now to do more or less what we want.
Yeah, and this is when you're cramped like it was in there, and that was just a typical ice cream place from the 60s, it looked like.
Yes.
It was a small place built to carry out, not necessarily eat in. And back then, they pretty much only sold ice cream, but now it's meals and everything.
Yeah, it's food and ice cream and everything. Yeah, you got to do everything.
It's going to be exciting. Now, when you say it's been a one-person operation, and really the last few years it's been a little more than that. Has it been difficult on your wife having to do all the work?
Well, okay, Paul.
See the little loss of words right there. I enjoy that.
Let me think about that.
Shirley has had to do so much, and frankly, you've done so little for this many years.
Exactly.
We understand how that works.
I'll just agree with that.
You're a wise man. You've been married long enough to know that. So you're going to open up now, and sometime around Memorial Day, and like you say, you're just going to be hit like crazy when you open those doors. Everybody wants to see a place like yours. You have grown so successful. Everybody will want to be your first customer.
Exactly. Well, I got one boy that wants. He's been telling me, or telling his parents, that he wants to be the first customer. So I said, well, okay, well, I'll let you know. But anyhow, as
long as you don't promise that to everybody.
And I'm happy for it.
Sure.
I mean, I'm just kind of as old as, I mean, older, I'm older, and it bothers me when there's a lot of people in there. I feel like I got to get them out of there now. You know?
Yeah. You can't talk to them, and you can't. Yeah.
I mean, you just
turn the tables over.
You're just busy.
Now people will people come to the counter and order, or will they? How will that work out?
Well, we got counter. You can order counter online. We started this online ordering last year. So we have a regular drive-through this year too. Last year we had a drive-through, but you ordered at the window, and then you waited for your food, or if you pulled around and we bring it out.
And that could be a little wait, because it's sandwiches, and it's just not a milkshake now. It was everything.
And we don't make things up ahead of time.
Sure.
I mean, we make them as they order them. I mean, some of the stuff is faster food than hamburgers and chicken or something like that. You know? But yeah, it's going to be a new experience, and we'll all survive. I mean, it'll all
so it'll be you and Shirley, and will both your boys be?
Both boys.
Both boys.
My daughter, she's in nursing school. She's graduating this year too, so she'll help us out. And my older son, he's the tech person down here at Lancaster High School, and if it wasn't for him, he's put all my cameras in. He did all my registers. He does
goodness
a heck
for
of a
somebody,
lot.
an IT person, because in this world today, you can't survive without that.
You cannot do that.
Yeah. And so you'll have a couple registers in the front and one at the drive-through?
Yes.
So, and you have a reader board up there with all the items on it,
yeah,
like you do now?
Yeah, we're going to have probably TV screens, yes. I mean, And
don't be so positive, Ed.
Yeah, I know. He's doing it all, though, so I won't
great.
have anything to do with that.
How wonderful it is to have a young man like that, you know.
Oh,
so
yes.
Will you still have the Deeds Dairy clock in there?
Yes, it will be there. Yes, it will. In the old cone that's out there, I was just over there this morning. We got to figure out where we're going to put that. So that's going to be, I love that cone ever since. So that's going to be in there too.
That's part of all of it. I talked to him about the Deeds clock. My dad worked for Deeds, so I always would notice that when I'd go up there. Well, Ed, thank you, and give Shirley our best, and your boys, we can't wait for you opened up. We'll come see you up there. It'd be great to have Schaffner's back.
Well, thank you.
You're
thank you very much.
Iconic location in Baltimore.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Ed Schaffner from Schaffner's Drive-In. We'll be back on Fairfield Today.
Fairfield Federal. When it comes to our customers and our community, we go above and beyond to help. Our people make the difference.
We were retiring from Tucson, Arizona, and we made a retirement trip out around Ohio, having decided that's where we wanted to be. And we came across this town called Lancaster, and we fell in love with the downtown area, where the fountain is, and the memorials, and the flags, and all this stuff. And I looked around and I said, there's our bank right there.
There's something to be said about a community bank in your hometown.
Right. If you live in the community, you should do business in the community as much as possible. So it makes sense to bank with the community bank where you live.
Fairfield Federal is the bank to be at. If you live in this town, or any town actually, you want to bank at a local home bank. The employees are happy here, they're conversant, customer service is through the roof. There's nothing more you could ask for.
Personal or business banking, whatever you need, we take it seriously because we know you do. Stop by today at any of our 3 locations and see why the difference is clear. Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan specializes in banking that revolves around you.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Dagger Law has been part of the Lancaster community for more than 110 years. This is where we live and work. You'll see us at festivals, sporting events, and all around town. We consider our clients as friends, and we walk alongside you through challenging times. Whether you're a growing business, a changing family, facing litigation, planning your future, or dealing with land issues, we're right here. We are local. We are trusted. We are experienced. Dagger Law.
Fairfield Medical goes the extra mile to give attention to their patients, to their guests, anybody that comes within those doors.
There's no question that the staff there are all personally invested in seeing that I got the best care possible.
The staff was so comforting. I felt like she was in the best hands.
They basically gave me a second chance at life, and I'm going to make the most of it.
Welcome to the Dream Machine. Like to be part of Dream Machine, keep me busy, and it's also important that we do it together as a group, and we plow and plant, and we have lots of produce. We have tomatoes like one here, and gourds, cucumbers, squash, crawberries, beets, microgreens. We also have flower arrangement, and we also sell bags, those tote bags out of animal food bags, and we sell them out in the market, farmers market.
It's a special place that keeps people healthy by eating a couple fruits and vegetables. I always show people, first time they pick raspberries and green beans, I show them how to do it like if they do it wrong. Picking raspberries and green beans is simple, it's easy for me. When entering some things in the field like pumpkins, the gourds were growing, and everyone likes them. Tasty.
Welcome back to Fairfield Today. Pleasure being with you. And again, something to think about here now with a lot of new enhancements going online with Fairfield Federal. So you want to go to their fairfieldfederal.com website. They are changing things, always improving, always getting better at what they do. So I'd encourage you to look at fairfieldfederal.com and just see how things have changed on there. If you bank here or in thinking about that, that's a good place to look, is fairfieldfederal.com. Pleasure always to talk about the West Side, and it's always something close to my heart, having grown up over there, and we'll continue in that vein right now. 624?
625.
625 Garfield Avenue. That may not mean anything to anybody. Where is 625 Garfield? But if I say the Old West School, everyone knows where it is. And now it's called Connections West, and my guest today is Burbridge Cook, who's the executive director of Connections West. And Burbridge, thanks for joining us today.
I appreciate it.
That's an amazing program you've got going over there. Yeah. Let's see, the history is back in 2017, West School, and again, all the schools, the old schools were closed. Lancaster was opening up new schools. Lancaster opened up the Mary Gorsuch West School out Hunter Trace out in that area. This became empty, sat empty for quite a while. 2017, Victory Hill Church bought it, and that's Correct. Kind of your entrance into this. And for the last couple of years, you've been the executive director?
Yeah, correct. So 2017, Victory Hill acquired the property, and then it sat dormant for about 12 months, maybe 14 months. And then at that point, I tell everybody we were a sleeping giant. Victory Hill set us up as a separate 501c3 and a faith-based community center, so that way we can just reach not only the west side, but the city of Lancaster, Fairfield County, then in turn our entire region. And it's taken off dramatically since COVID.
Well, I was privileged to hear over a Zoom meeting, Burbridge kind of talked about Connexion West there on Garfield Avenue and talked about the things they did. And again, I was kind of blown away. I had no idea. I mean, I knew they had a building there and they rented out some office space. And again, just a week or so ago, we had the after-school programs on. Karen Martin was on, who's one of your tenants over there, and I know you rent some of the space out over there. But it's something like 59 programs Correct. You run out of there. I mean, it's remarkable. And I've noticed that you just talked about COVID. I noticed over the winter, you guys, I don't know if it was a shelter, I can't remember the sign, whatever sign said out front, but you had people could come in and get out of the cold.
Correct. Yeah. So we opened up our gymnasium for a warming center. Yeah. That's one of our programs. One of our staples is our food pantry. And whenever COVID first happened, that day we were on the phones with the local city, Lancaster City Schools. It's like, what's the need going to be, and how can we help? And that afternoon, we had 12 churches sitting around our conference table, and they're like, hey, let's go out there and meet the need. And we provided 33,000 meals just for Lancaster City Schools. Any kid needed help and assistance, and then that actually led us down to Burn Union and doing the same thing down there for that school district.
So for many businesses, when COVID hit, it was really jaw-dropping how difficult it made it for them. But for you, that was really first entry into people realizing that you're there and what capabilities you have.
Absolutely. And I come from a small business background. I'm a firm believer, hey, when an adversity hits, that's whenever you need to be on point, and you need to grow through that. So whenever you weather the storm, you're in position to really just grow exponentially. And I think we've done that to this point.
And I was looking at that. One of the things was a food pantry. How often does that run?
Yeah, currently our food pantry is open on Saturdays, and it's from 9:30 in the morning until 1 o'clock. We're in the process of changing that to where we're going to be open 5 days a week, as well as we're starting mobile food pantries. So we've had a lot of companies and organizations step up, and churches here in Lancaster, so we really don't see the need as we did prior to COVID. So at this point, we want to go out and we want to meet the need anywhere in southeastern Ohio. So we've partnered with Mid-Ohio Food Bank, and anywhere south of I-70 and north through the Ohio River, we'll go where the need is.
So, and by mobile, and you'll go, what does that mean? You'll have a vehicle that will go out with food, produce, whatever it is, and you'll be in a parking lot someplace, or someplace that you put down as this is the important spot.
Lutheran Social Services does a fantastic job of this currently.
Out on East Main here.
Yep. And what the motto is we have a box truck, which we've been blessed. We recently received one in the past year. And we have volunteers come in, we pack up the boxes, and at that point, we just go where they tell us the need is. And it's usually your rural communities, impoverished area, and we're right here on the border of Appalachia. So there's definitely a need, and we want to make sure that we're there to meet that.
And I think you look at your mission statement, I think, I guess I think of you, and that's how I thought of you before, as just being someplace on the west side. But your mission, and I think your vision to do this would be, and we're certainly just hearing about that all over central, southeastern Ohio, is just wherever the need is, you'll try to be there.
Absolutely. Here in Lancaster, we have a phenomenal community, and they have rallied behind us and given us the foundation that we need. But shame on us if we're not taking this blueprint that's working for us to the surrounding regions. Because whenever we look at the west side of Lancaster, we see communities identical to Chillicothe, Circleville, Newark, and Logan, Ohio, just in our immediate neighborhoods. So we need to make sure that we're there in those communities as well.
And you look at some of your tenants here, they're not only tenants, but they're things that I think fit into the vision that you have. We talked about the after-school programs, which started out right there on the west side, but you also have a pediatrics located in there. You have a learning center located and these are tenants in your place, and these are all businesses that I think help with your vision.
Yes. So we have 59 programs, and inside of those include several tenants. And they are other nonprofits, and they meet the same criteria that what we're trying to do is just making sure that we meet today's needs while focusing on generational change. So we also have Bottoms Up Diaper Drive. Their headquarters is inside of our facility.
That's going big right now.
Yeah, absolutely. 250,000 diapers. Wow. And then our newest tenant is going to be July 1st, is going to be the American Red Cross is moving back from Chillicothe here into Lancaster. And talking to United Way, they recommended, hey, meet with these guys at Connexion West because they really are becoming a hub of everything for any type of outreach and benevolent activities.
And that'll be good because Red Cross always had a presence here for many, many years, and then as things change, things evolve, things move on, and they weren't here anymore. So I'm glad to hear that they're coming back here and they'll be involved with you because, again, that's going to be a hub where so many things happen.
Absolutely. Our gymnasium is going to be big enough to where we can do monthly blood drives in there. And like I said earlier, with all the food outreaches that we do, we also do coats in the wintertime for those in need from birth to 18. We'll do shoes in the summertime. So American Red Cross, having them and their presence there is going to be phenomenal for us.
And one of the, again, being a member of a church right near you, I can remember when you did, I guess they call them book bags for young people. How many did you give away this last year?
So Victory Hill started that 16, 17 years ago, and that was really the birth of why they wanted to go after the West Elementary. You know, the lead pastor currently of Victory Hill was standing there on the parking lot, and he just looked and he's like, man, He said, wouldn't it be phenomenal if we could have this as a community center one day? And we purposely branded it separately so that way we can try to get as many churches in there. Yeah. But then we have it set up to where our lead pastor at Victory Hill is always going to be the president of Connexion West. So make sure we keep those entities tied together.
So, I mean, it's when things are rolling over there, when you have a program like Book Bag, it looked like ants over there. There are so many people involved, and that's such a great thing to see on the west side where it is so needed. You know that, where just a few blocks around you really need a place like you have.
150 volunteers on those type of events is our average, and then our backpack average has been roughly 1,100 backpacks given away. Last year the numbers were down just because they weren't sure what school system was going to be, so I think we gave away just under 900 backpacks last year.
Wow, that's phenomenal. Now you talk about volunteers. Do you still need volunteers on a basis? And if you do, then how do they get a hold of talking to someone?
The easiest way is probably just to give us a call. Receptionist will forward you right over to my office. Our phone number is 740-201-2778. And first thing I want to do is we're still small enough where I want to meet with all of our volunteers one-on-one. I want to see what your heartbeat is. We're privileged with the fact that we have 59 programs. We can get to know you, what your desires are, and get you plugged in with somewhere to where you actually feeling fulfillment as well as serving the community. So we're blessed in that area.
Speaking with Burbridge Cook, Burbridge is the executive director of Connexion West, which is located in and runs what used to be West School right there at the corner of, I guess it'd be 7th and Garfield, right there on the corner. But they have the big first playground I can remember. One of the very first ones there was the one you have connected with the school. Yeah. That was one of the very first programs we saw. St. Bernadette's eventually had one, but I think West School is the one the parents probably from West School built that, but they have basketball courts there. Y'all know where it is. It's that whole block there in Garfield and 7th. And so now you're talking about you have a mobile food program. You're going to be going out to other places in central, southeastern Ohio, probably Perry County, Hocking County, all around like that. What would be the next step beyond that, if you can envision where you would go from here?
Probably fixed facilities. So we're actively meeting with the city of Logan, looking to acquire some properties down there for our second location. The blueprint works. There's a lot of vacant schools here in southeastern Ohio from where all of our surrounding areas have been getting new school systems in place. So it's like, hey, we would love to go after that type of building so we can follow that same blueprint of doing some sublease agreements, so that way it would cover our finances. And then at that point, any outreaches we want to conduct, that's my responsibility to raise the funds at that point.
So if you could, you would sort of duplicate what you have here, maybe Logan, maybe at some point Perry County?
Absolutely. If
things worked out.
Yes. So our 3, 5-year, and 10-year business plan, by year 10, we hope to have 3 facilities.
Wow.
So.
And third one is yet to be determined?
Correct.
Yeah. We'll see where the need goes.
Circleville, Chillicothe, more than likely.
Yeah, very good. So really stay here in southeastern Ohio or central southeastern Ohio. Yeah. How many employees do you have over there? You talk about all the volunteers. How many actual employees? You must have a bunch.
No, we have 3 full-time employees.
That's a lot.
Yes.
That's a lot.
Yep. And we couldn't do it without our volunteers. Like, they are the backbone. I mentioned 150 volunteers. We track a lot of that. We're averaging now 3,500 hours served a month there. So, we love to delegate responsibilities, not tasks. And people just love our community, and whatever they can do to help out, it's been amazing.
So we're getting close to the end of the school year. Big summer plans for Connexion West?
Yeah, so we're hoping that the backpack giveaway is going to be a staple. We're partnering with several church youth groups to do volunteer and a serve week there at our facility, as well as the west side of Lancaster. And then once we get past COVID, we're in the process of renovating our gymnasium so we can open that up to a skate rink. We want to do something
where
we
saw
can
that where the plan was to make that big gym there a skating rink.
Yes.
That's interesting.
So we can still use it for a multi-facility, and it'll be amazing.
Yeah, well, again, you're doing great work over there. Just thanks for what you're doing for not only the west side, but for Lancaster. It's so needed, these programs. Like you can tell with food pantries and everything, how much that is needed. Certainly the west side is very thankful to have you folks over there. Great job.
We have an amazing team.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Burbridge Cook and his group there at Connexion West. Again, before we get away, the phone number if anybody wants more information. I know that, what is it, connexionwest.org?
That is correct. So you can find our website, connexionwest.org. Our phone number is 740-201-2778.
Okay. And again, get involved over there. your work will be needed over there. They'd enjoy having you. So good luck with Connexion West.
Thank you.
Burbridge Cook, Executive Director, is our guest. Thank you for joining us on Fairfield Today.
Interface Video, in cooperation with Fairfield Federal, presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fair Hope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Frankie Smith Funeral Home, Fairfield County Adam H., Dagger Law, and the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.